So, Maayan, thank you so much for coming, and the floor is
Yeah.
yours.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and really, I was looking forward to it, to see you, to be with you. Um, First, I wanted um, to bring the energies of my parents that are for sure always with me, but sometimes when I speak. Um, I'd like to recognize that really I speak with their wisdom because they brought me to life um, and taught me so many things. And actually, the way I am now is um, a lot because of them. And in their death, that was very violent one and ugly one. Um, I have learned so much more, and their teaching is continuing. So I just really want to acknowledge that. Um, and I thought time-wise, and also I really like to hear also questions or things from you. But I did think that I want to share with you two stories that happened. These 2.5 years since October 7th, like every day was like a year, a lot of new things that I had to address to and to feel, and many, all the grief and the trauma and the loss and the fear and anxiety and the meeting with other people who suffered a lot, and Israeli and Palestinians, and really like 2.5 years that I couldn't imagine before. So there are many stories, but I will share two stories today that I think are maybe have some example. They can be an example how to handle or how to live with with um, with compassion even now. So the first story is actually was happened maybe 2 months or 3 months after October 7. I was still very much freeze, like in shock. Very internal processing myself and my girls, and just trying to keep everything like okay. And a woman asked me to come to speak in a circle of other women, both Palestinians, Israelis, and Israeli Jewish um, women who had knew each other before. And October 7, just they stopped seeing each other. They were a group that was walking together, and they wanted to come back again, to meet again, and they asked me if I can come to speak with them. So first I said no, I don't have anything to say. And she was pushing, and I say, you know what, if you want me to come, I want to bring a partner. I want to be with a partner who is Palestinians, because I always feel it's more balanced, especially when the group is both. So I did meet someone very, very amazing, and she came with me as a partner, as a co-host, like to speak. But what happened there that there was a session that each one said something, and I was the last one, and before me was a woman, a Palestinian. I didn't know her, and before that, I was saying that I was I'm bringing my heart and I'm speaking truthfully and from my heart. And I said at that time, I have no compassion to the people in Gaza, um, because I am very focused on my pain, on my grief, on my trauma. Um, I'm not seeing the pictures, I'm not seeing the news, I don't want to hear stories. I I couldn't. And I was saying, this is my heart speaking. I cannot feel compassion right now to the people there. And the circle went on, and then the woman next to me, um, she got like her turn to speak, and it was like she's going into tantrum, into attack. And um, she started slowly, but gradually it became like she was very, very, very angry. And she said, "How can you talk like that? And with all due respect to your pain, and I do respect your pain, but how can you say you have no compassion to women, to children?" And she started like shouting on me, and all her body was shaking. She was really, really like in a situation, um, and I was near her, and I froze, and my body was like, you know, got into a freeze mode because I'm also, of course, the trauma is very fresh, and Arab woman shouting on me, and she was furious, and she was like, she like 5 minutes she was shouting, and then her body like she woke up and she took her bag and she wanted to leave. Now, when she shouted, I was freezing, but I was shaking. My heart was shaking, and everyone was in shock. The room was like in shock. And I heard a voice in me saying, "Listen." Twice it repeated like, "Listen." And I heard that. And I was like, okay. And when she woke and wanted to go, I immediately stood up after, and I saw her, I think she was panic from herself. Um, because also at that time, Arab in Israel and also now will not get into it, but they wouldn't allow to speak their own feelings and their own opinions. And actually, they didn't have any place to express what they feel, what they think. So I think also she was very, very panicked because she was afraid that something will happen to her also. But at that moment, she wanted to go. I stood, I put like very gently my hand on her on her shoulder, and I said, please don't go. And all the other women also said, but don't go, don't go. And she sat down. She was all shaking. And I heard myself, and I'm saying that because it wasn't something I could, it wasn't something I could, plan or something, because it was really very powerful. But I said to her, thank you. And she was like still shaking. And I said, thank you for saying that. It is hard to hear, but thank you. And then actually, I think we even hugged, but I don't remember. And it was very, very late already, and everyone go. My partner was very worried about me, and she called me like every half an hour to see if I'm okay. The organizer also was very worried about me. I was very angry about her because it was not holding the space. But it took me, I think, three, 3 or 4 days to overcome the despair, the black. I couldn't see ahead. Like after this event, after this happening, I went home and I just felt that the things are much more complex and horrible than I thought. Um, I was never a very political person, and I wasn't in touch with the conflict, with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I'm a therapist, I'm a healer. I like to do good, no matter who is coming to me, no matter where I am. Um, and I just lived in my very harmonious and nice and pleasant atmosphere. Of course, life has its challenges, but nothing really, that shook me like that. And those 3 days after this circle, um, it was really hard to breathe. It was really for me really hard to see ahead. It was like I have a black wall, and I understood the depth of the conflict and the difficulties that um, are on are on the land and in us. And there was no point to say kind words or beautiful words because it is horrible. Um, and then I was crying a lot. I was processing all these days. And at some point, I just said, okay, so what do you do? Like, what do I do? And I I felt that I have no choice. If I want to live, to really live, um, I have to see beyond that wall. I have to overcome this wall, and to see what else is there and what else can I see beyond this wall of this conflict, of this trauma, of this pain, of this fear. And that was one, I think life-changing events that were taking me, um, I was able to do more afterwards. So this is one story. Um, and every once in a while, I have like something that brings me back to the wall. I see the wall and I have to choose again. And it's part of the path, you know. Um, and for me, it's important to also see the wall, to understand that it's also here. I cannot ignore the wall of this conflict, the wall of the hate and the violence and the fear and the bad things that happening. I don't want to overlook. I want to see that also. And it's very hard when I see it. When it comes to me, it comes to me, then it's a block. And sometimes for days that I have to only breathe and let it dissolve in me till I remember or I hear again the voice that tells me, okay, but do you want to live? If you want to live, what do you do? And the core, I think, questionnaire here is do I'm asking myself, but do you choose to live? I and you need to choose that. I choose life. I choose life. And if I choose life, then I can breathe. I start breathing again, like consciously, and to circulate, the oxygen and the blood, and things are starting to move again in me and then with the world. Um, so it happens, and it's part of my path. So this is one story. The other story was also, I think, maybe two months. Or I don't know. The time frame is very, very blurred. But it was still, I think, fairly the beginning of these 2 years. And my daughter, she was for around 13, 14 back then, and she didn't feel well. And it was 8 o'clock in the morning. My oldest daughter went to school, and it was me and her, my little girl. Um, she was in my bed. We were like still sleeping. Um, I didn't work. Um, I didn't back then, and also now I'm like searching myself, but that's another area of searching. Um, so anyway, I had a clinic in my house. That had a different door, and these doors, there's a sign, clinic, and only my customers were come in that door. Um, and for 2, 3 months it closed. Nobody is coming, and everyone knows that I'm not working. Um, and it's 8 o'clock, and we are in bed, and they're knocking, strong knocking on the door, like boom, boom. And both of us are like freezing also. She said to me, Mom, what is it? I said, I don't know, I don't know. And she said, who is it? I said, I don't know. And we were like, I don't know if you heard the stories. I'm sure you heard the stories. Um, but immediately I felt, maybe someone is here to kill me and to kill us. What do I do? Um, I'm in my pajama, what do I do? And the knocking on the door continues, and I hear a man with an Arabic accent say to me, "Lady, lady," like in Hebrew, it's "Geveret, Geveret." And I hear the accent. I know it's someone, and wow, I was like, "What do I do?" Um, I managed to I remember my body was shaking, and I I woke up from bed, and I got near the door, she was locked. I was inside the house near the door, and I asked, who is it? And he said, the gardener. Now, all the stories about the gardeners that came and collected data about the people and the kibbutz and everyone, there were many, many stories about the gardeners. Um, and my mind is going like, maybe he's coming to collect data about me, like who am I? Who is here? Like, and it's running, and maybe I don't know what I don't know what happens beyond this door. I don't know. And I was like freezing, shaking, and um, again I heard a voice that said to me, breathe, um, breathe. And I managed to take a breath, a breath, few good breath. And I saw, and it was like a vision. I saw um, two roads in front of me. And one road was, I saw love, fear. Um, and I just felt that I'm in a crossroads, and I need to decide. And no judgment. I felt no judgment. Like, it's okay if I fear, because I'm in fear, and it's reasonable. It's not like um just not related to to anything fear. So I saw the two roads, and it was like maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 seconds, and he's still on the other side, shouting and calling me. Um, and then it was very quickly that I felt my heart like that, for me, for Maayan. Okay, it's only for me. But if I live with in fear, with my heart contracted, it's not a life for me. I realized that. And because of my whole being and my whole life, I was evolving myself and learning and practicing how to open my heart more and more, and this is I'm practicing it for many years. So now I'm in this crossroads, and what do I choose? And no judgment, but what do I choose? And I felt that I still my path is clear. I choose love, and I opened the door. I literally opened, like, turned the key and opened the door, and there was a gardener. He was in he has like a ranger, and I saw immediately, my because I was very alert, and I saw the ranger. I saw the tools of the of the gardening. So I said, okay, he's a gardener. And I looked at him and I immediately caught something that he is not completely, I have a sister, she's with special needs. And something about him I knew is like her. So something I don't know what, but I felt that he is not, is not, I don't want to say not normal, but he has something that I realized, and my body could a little bit relax, and I would the first thing I told him, like, you cannot do that. And he said, what did I do? I said, you cannot do that. I said, but what did I do? I want to fix your garden. He saw my garden is a mess. And he was saying, I do it very, very cheap. And um, I told him, listen, you cannot come to a house and knock on the door like this now. It was very early after October 7. Like, I told him, someone, if it's not me, someone can come with a gun and shoot you. And he was like, well, but what did I do? And we sat together. I was shaking, I was still shaking, and he didn't understand. And I made him coffee and we sat and we talked. And he told me about his parents in the Arab village that's not far from me, that they lost their son in a car accident, and the other son, his brother, and they are devastated, and they are not working and they have no money. They need food to eat. So he's a gardener many years, but he has no work now also because people doesn't want him to come. So he just going knocking on the doors, looking for work, to bring some money home to his parents and to buy food. And we cried together. I told him about, of course, my parents. I showed him pictures of them, of the house that was burned down, of their. I told him about the killing that Hamas people did to my parents and to other people that I know. Um, and we were both sitting and crying, and um, and he left. Of course, he fixed my garden, and um, also after this day, I realized few, I think, major thing, like understanding that one. is nobody is going to do the healing process for me. I have to face the the fear. I have to decide what to do with that. I need to be fully present and take fully responsibility for my choices and for my actions. And if I want to heal myself, this is on me. This is on me. And I understood that probably the healing process will come um, with hard confrontations. And since so that was first resolution that I could realize, and the other one that I saw that now this is my time to open doors. If I want to open to continue and heal myself and open my heart even more, I need to be brave to open doors that seems to be closed. And that's what I'm doing since then. And I've decided not to wait that they will come knocking on my door. I've decided also to look for the opportunities, and it gives me the goosebumps now because, you know, um, actually, I think I never say that like this, that so clear. Yeah, that not to wait, that things will happen, and that, then I need, because things will happen anyway. But for me, uh, to make an active um, actions, choices, um, do, yeah, not just to sit and wait and believe and practice and meditate, which is good and important because it helps me, but to be active, to find the doors that I can open. Um, and this has been an amazing and hard um journey since then. Um, but truly, I feel that if I will not do that, um, then I'm not really alive. Um, and after saying that and telling you that stories, which is, um, I like I told you before, there are many stories, but I just want to say that not all the stories are so dramatic. Like sometimes it's about people in the grocery, um, or with my kids, or neighbors. Sometimes the locked door um, is is very near, is very close. Um, but the action is the same, is to choose to turn the key and open, and to take a risk, to be that I'm not sure what is on the other side. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to take this risk. And also to say that it's very important to be to feel safe. Like I'm not doing it if to like from like ideology, like the ideology, and I don't want to be a victim to this journey. I want to live. Okay, so to be a realistic kind of door opener. Yeah. So I think now it's good time if someone wants to say something or ask something. I hate to read from the chat. So if there's a question from the chat, Avi or someone, Caitlin, maybe, um, you will ask.
so feel free to unmute and just bow in and speak rather than using your electronic hands. So
Yeah, I see Ben. Ben, you want to?
How did you know?
Oh, smart
I,
one.
but I used to work with prisoners at the local prison, and I led groups of restorative justice. And women from the community of Boston who had lost children to violence would come into the prison and meet with our groups. And the men, of course, were struggling with forgiveness, and these women were not willing to say, "Oh, it was okay. I forgive you." And they were not even willing to say, "I see your life. I see what brought you to the place that you were brought to, and I understand." They weren't willing to say that. What they were willing to say is, "I no longer wish you harm."
Mm,
And
mm,
I think they had compassion for the men.
mhm.
And it was very meaningful. Then it came back to me hearing your talk. So thank you very much.
Thank
It's
you.
much harder also to forgive when these men in the circle were dealing with coming to terms with what they had done, and they were the words evade me, but sometimes people are not willing to admit what they have done, and it's much harder in that case. But it's still possible, I think, for your own health. These women described how their doctors were warning them they were on the verge of a heart attack. And they put the burden down for themselves.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You know, I yeah, I didn't speak directly about forgiveness. And I think it is a term that you know, it's more flexible than we think. Because or I think maybe pulsing, right? Because there are a few kinds of forgiveness, and um, I've been, I don't want to say struggled, but I have been contemplated about this word, about this meaning, about the energy uh, behind this word. Um, and I can say that first I was telling that I have, you know, I haven't received a request to forgiveness from anyone. Um, so if I need to forgive someone, maybe need to ask me for my forgiveness, like bec at least of this horrible event. Okay, and I'm just speaking about uh, my my, when I'm focused on myself, and my story. Um, it's very personal, yeah, but no Hamas people ask for forgiveness. So why do I need to forgive? This was my first thinking about it. And then I said, also a lot of the Israeli forces, governments, they didn't ask for my forgiveness, and I think there has a big part of what happened. So also, they don't ask for forgiveness. Why do I need to give them my forgiveness? Um, and then, I hear the theories and like the very beautiful words about forgiveness will set me free. Yeah. But I didn't feel like that because I'm sorry, but no, I don't believe that things like that need to happen, not only October 7th, like anywhere in this world. People should not murder other people, period. People should not slaughter men, children, women. This is not something that needs to forgiveness because it should not be happening anywhere in the world. So, and if I forgive, does it means that, like, like a mother saying to her child, okay, I forgive you, so it's okay, you know? So, no, it's not okay. And I thought about that. I need to say that no, it's not okay. It's not okay to fire bomb on civilians. It's not okay. I don't want to forgive about that. Okay? So I have this level, but I keep on, thinking about it and meditating about it. And then I thought, what do they mean what do they mean that they say that forgiveness is so important? Um, and I cannot fake it. And then, I went to somewhere in Ireland with also Palestinians and Israelis, and they were talking about forgiveness, la la la. And the only thing that I could say after 3 days with them, and thinking about what is happening, is that the mankind, the humankind, um, as long as humanity uh, is based on the same patterns that there are now, there will always be violence, there will always be victims, there will always be um, the one who will be hurt and the one will attack the attackers. And more of that, I felt that I could be both. I understood something that I could see myself maybe can reach to that point that I could uh, do horrible things. And when I realized that, I saw that, I felt that in me, then I could say, okay, so I can only find forgiveness for this human part. that is able to do horrible things when circumstances lead, lead the way. And I think our job, if to come, and we need to finish soon, but our job is like the what the slides were told us is um, to keep on practice. And to make to make nowadays it's very hard because it's very hard. The violence is everywhere, and it seems that all the world is going crazy. But I think is a and I want to be optimistic to say it's a clearing process, because at the end, if we want to live, if we want to keep on going, living on this planet, we will need to find the the values, the core values, and the solutions to bring humankind to the maybe to the next level. Um, Anyway, this is I think this is what I have to do here. If not, it's really no point. Don't want to depress you, but it's a very powerful energy to feel that as long as I'm here in my body, and this is my story, and each one of us has stories, and each one of us, I believe, is a soul being that chose to be here on this time till I'm not. But as long as we are here, we have a vibration. We have something to do. And sometimes it's hard, and the wall is very dark and clothing, but keep on breathing. Let it remember it's only a wall. It's just, it will take a few days, but it's only a wall. And something is out there. I don't know what now, because I can't see, but and I'm feeling very, very bad. Yeah, it's really I cannot get up from bed sometimes, it's painful. The body is in pain, and that it's I would say I would thinking when it came to me, I said maybe I'm in a depression, but I knew I didn't. Like, it's not a depression. It feels like depression, but it's not. It's a wave. It's a wall. It will pass, and let it pass, and keep on going, and keep on breathing and vibrating, and believing that we are here for a reason, and we are not alone. And this is very, very, that's why it's so meaningful for me to speak with you. And I thank you again, Avi, for asking. And I'm here for you also after these Zoom sessions. And you can really feel free to write me or whatever, if you think I can help in some way. And I really thank you, all of you, that you are here. Mm.